Oh, and here comes Cami. Cami, we're just going
Cami.
live. We've just gone live.
Well, hello.
Hi guys.
Yay. Well, I'll just say today is Thursday, the 11th of October, 2018, and today is ladies' night.
It's ladies' night, and the feeling's right.
So, we're waiting for a couple more as the night goes on, but we've got Cami has just joined us. Hello, Cami.
Hello, Karen. How are you?
Good, thank you very much. Bling bling.
Hello. How is everyone? All these beautiful women that I adore.
Oh, thank you. We're doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Lesia. We have Lesia with us.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'll go on camera. Let's see.
Good luck.
Hi.
Hello, darling. We've got Lucy Lemon.
It's just a fun. Oh, Cami's got her camera.
Hi guys, Lucy here.
Hello, Lucy. Oh, Patricia.
Hello, everyone. Hello, ladies.
Patricia.
Nice to see you all.
She's got a microphone off. She's got Roxanne Glen. Hi, Roxanne.
Hi, Karen. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello again.
Hi.
Panel. They have a good panel.
Sarah.
Amazing panel.
Hi.
Hello, Sarah.
There she is.
So we basically got American ladies and English ladies today.
Oh, but Canadian, really. I'm not really an American yet.
Just in case the chat room don't know who any of you are, I thought maybe just the first bit, everybody just says a little bit about themselves. And there's a line of you in front of me. So if each one of you could just say a little bit like about yourselves and what you're into flat earth or what flat earth means, a flat earth lady. So Cami's the first one.
Ha
Oh, how did that happen? Hello, everybody. I'm Cami. I am Bob from Glowbuster's wife. And
name dropper.
Name dropper. People say, how do you get your wrench in the chat room over at Glowbusters? And I say, honestly, well, for mine, I slept with, the channel owner. So
you slept with the boss.
I slept with
the wrench person. You got to be in with you to get a wrench. Do my homework.
Yeah, so Cami, I last time I think we asked you about how you got into flat earth.
You did. And we repeat a little bit. We started with my husband seeing I think a Jeranism video and wanting to watch it. Caught our eye because the name was the same as our son. And it's a very highly unusual name. And so that got us into it. I got into it trying to debunk it and failed. My husband looked at it and, he looked at it and was, wait a minute, stop, think, really give it a shot. And I really went at it that, no, this is really the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And it'll take me give me a couple minutes and we'll completely blow this out of the water. And 3 days later, I was still trying to blow it out of the water, and it changed my life forever.
Amen.
And changed the way I looked at things, changed the way I functioned, changed everything about my life. So I'm all in now.
Oh yeah, you're all in. You can't be halfway in. Flat earth. Halfway on and off the flat.
Yeah, and becoming or are a big part of our community now. So thank you for that, Cami. And also, you don't do many hangouts, do you?
I don't do many hangouts. I am more comfortable in the background, usually I do a lot of the research and the stuff going into the Glowbuster show. And I do talk to a lot of people behind the scenes. I am just not that comfortable on camera. I don't know why, but I didn't grow up on camera, and it's just not a comfortable place for me. So I really push myself to, to me, it's a brave thing to go up on camera.
Well, you're doing great.
Of course,
Yeah.
I have the camera turned off, so it's a little bit
But you
easier.
had it on. You had it on. You can keep it on. You look great. I don't have any makeup on. I'm not turning my camera on for nothing. I forgot about the hangout.
Night though, didn't you, Cami, as well? Which is really great.
Say that again?
You wanted to come on our ladies' night, didn't you?
I did want to come in. I want to, again, I love meeting the different people in the Flat Earth community. I like working out the problems. I'm very, very much involved. Again, the camera thing is, or just being live, I'm not used to being up and I'm used to working with smaller groups of people than large groups. So, you know,
Are you
everybody.
feeling now, by the way?
Pardon?
Are you feeling okay now?
Am I feeling okay? I am still
Your eye.
broken. We'll put, so let's see if I can, there's the big thing. I'll try to turn on the camera. I think I have it on now.
Can you tell by looking at you that your eye is been damaged?
You can.
Is it a little cloudy? Is it your right eye? Like
it's my left eye, and it's a little bit dilated. So much for the camera and that. It's and I had for people not aware of it, coming back from the Canada convention on the plane, and that I tore my retina and detached it, and I'd never heard of it before. I've never heard of anybody doing it, but I did, and I don't recommend it for anybody. It's really it's completely had me broken for 2 months now, and I'm still not right. It means a lot, though. It means a lot when they're talking about the vestibular systems and the way that we would not be able to function out in space because our vestibular systems would not work. Having a torn retina and having like your vision change, and that just shows you how much your vestibular system really affects you, your balance, your everything about it, and it's another proof that we are on a stationary plane.
Wow, I never thought of that before, Cami. Makes sense, you know. They love to talk about the studies they do on the eye and eye pressure and whatnot, but that's just for the camera. I'd love to see them really go out in space if possible and show us what would really happen to your eyeballs.
What would, because like even right now, a couple of months outside of surgery, I'm still probably like 3 or 4 more weeks. It's an interesting recovery. What they do is they stitched it all up and they attached it. I was awake during the surgery.
Oh God!
And it was a long surgery.
Cord in my eyes and have stitches.
It was close to a 3-hour surgery, and listening to him, I have to say, it was amazing because the way they were talking about with squeegees and lasers and things like that, I felt like I had the Mario Brothers inside my eyeball doing swooping and squeeging it on. And
why didn't they put you in twilight and just hold your eyeball open? Why would you have to be like awake for this? It seems rather cruel.
It's actually a much easier recovery. Some of it was an emergency surgery. In other words, I went into the hospital in the morning and they brought in a team of surgeons that night to operate on me. And if they and so my surgery didn't start until 7 o'clock at night. And
but still,
if they would have put you under and totally, I would have had to spend the night at the hospital. It would have been a much harder. In other words, when they put you under the anesthesia, you have to come out of that. And I don't like that at all. I really don't.
Still depends on, like, if they give you twilight, that's a thing that only lasts 20 minutes. They have to keep giving it to you to keep you there because it only would last the initial 20 minutes and then you're wide awake. But then there's like the deep intubation where they put a breathing tube in you and you have to breathe for you or you would die.
Maybe they did put me in twilight and.
Well, you wouldn't be awake though. You wouldn't have been hearing them. I get a lot of surgery.
Can I just sedate you a little bit, Cami?
You know what?
They must have given you something.
They did give me something, and they seemed to think that I didn't hear as much of it as I did. But I mean, I listened and felt awake during it, so they seemed to think I was more out than I was.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was, and I felt relaxed, but I was very much there. I heard the whole conversations and that, and again, it was amusing because I was picturing the Mario Brothers in my eyeball. But,
were you chuckling?
You get the whole. I kind of it was. I mean, it was this complete. Thing of it, and then what they do is they fill your eye with gas to apply pressure to it, and so when they fill your eye with gas, a couple of things they did differently, I guess, from the normal surgery. I guess they normally do a gas that dissolves fairly quickly in like 4 to 6 weeks. But I am right on the edge in a high altitude, and I don't know if it's because I'm right at like a high altitude or if it's because the rip was so bad and that they did a much longer acting gas. So I still have a gas bubble in my eye, and so I'm like I'm banned from leaving the
You
city.
feel that?
Really.
Is it like feeling like a pressure in your eye?
It's like having it's interesting. It jumps up and down like when I move and it moves in and out of vision.
You sort of see it
getting
then.
smaller. You can see it. It's almost like a magnifying glass that changes the color of everything and bounces and moves with you. So it's not painful.
Poor you, honey. I didn't know it was that
But
bad.
it's very disorientating, and you can't, even when you close your eye, for some reason, I don't, with the dilation and that, even when I close my eyes, I can't turn the eye off. In other words, I see lights in that in the eye when it's shut, and when it's open, you have a bubble bouncing in that, and that's like
that's why
learning how
what they're telling you why that happens is I ask you that because I have that problem, but I can turn it off in my own mind. When it was really active, I couldn't close my eyes without seeing neon colors and images and everything possible. I would be wide awake. I would be wide awake, and I'd be telling my husband, okay, right now I can see writing, but I can't focus on what it says. Like, because he said, no, you're sleeping. Those are dreams. I'm like, Wayne, I'm wide awake right now. My eyes are closed, and I see writing in my eyelids. Like I'm looking at things. The weirdest thing. I really don't understand what that is. Could that be possible? Some kind of eye damage that I don't know about, or is that something else? It's really weird.
It could very well be. I know that, and this was another strange thing about it, when they fold it and as the gas bubble is getting smaller in that, it almost makes like a bright light tip on it, almost like a sun, except for a purple sun.
Oopsie.
And with the gas in that, you have clouds forming and dissolving and misting around, and you have a bright, light that almost looks like a purple sun. It's like you have your little eye.
We can hear everything you're doing.
Margaret, I'm sorry. She's looking for her password that I wrote down for her. Margaret, it's not here, honey. I'm sorry. It's magically gone again. We lost it once already. That paper is gone again. Yeah, that's the password.
Right, but is it capital?
It's just one capital.
One capital
on
many?
the L.
On many. And you put EMMA?
Right. She's muted now. Sorry. Yeah. What were you saying, Cami?
Oh, I was just saying it was interesting that, like, again, and even right now, you get, like, looking at your flat Earth world, or that I've been getting a little bit of my own the last few months in my eye, its own little eye world, because you have where they have the gas bubble and that you see clouds dissolve, form, bright lights that look like the sun. All with your eye closed.
That's like a trip, like an acid trip, mushroom trip.
But it's not you can't get away from it. So it's been again, I would not recommend it for anybody. It's puts you on your butt for 2 to 3 months, and
you must be experiencing something because the other eye is working harder, so you may be getting headaches or anything like that. Like
you get the headaches because you just feel out of balance, and when driving is downright scary. I've been trying to make Bob drive most places, and I mean this has been really hard on him. He's had to pick up a lot of things, and me working, like, trying to keep up, I can't. It's it's just really debilitating as far as trying to keep up with the paperwork. You try to look at it, it all crosses over. It's double vision.
Do you have
staring
a job
at anything
outside of Flat Earth? Like, do you have
I do.
Oh my word! Yeah,
I have a few of them. I do contract labor and do things out for 3 other different companies, and trying to keep up. I'm right now, one of them, I'm on a leave of absence on one. I have an appointment after the show, like with another one that I'm doing part-time and working in, and then our books and that. So no, I'm just not keeping up well at all.
Oh, I really feel for you. Like, it's a frightening thing when it comes to vision. It's so important to us, and we take everything for granted until that moment that you blow a retina, and then it's like, oh my word, did I ever appreciate healthy retinas in the past?
Yeah, well, we wish you a speedy recovery on that one.
Yeah, totally.
Bling Bling, you're there, so
Yes.
you said You talk next then. You say your bit then.
Not hard for me. Well, I think in the past I was a public speaker. I used to be a port lecturer on a cruise ship. So I would talk in front of 500 people and tell them about the tax and duty-free savings in the recommended stores that I promoted and then got a commission from off of the sales. That's how the company made money. So I was used to having all those people plus the camera on, and it would be playing in all the staterooms, my shopping talks. So I quite like that. It's fun for me. I liked having the power of telling people, okay, write this down, and I'd see every head bend down and they'd write something down that I said. So of course, don't
Yeah,
do that
people
anymore.
also don't know in the chat room, Bling Bling hates NASA, don't you?
Oh, yeah, we get into that. I probably hate them more than anybody. It just on so many levels, this deception and I know it's very nefarious. There's something really evil about this, and I'm really trying to figure out exactly what it is. I'm starting to think, and I have no proof, but and I don't really want to think about this, but maybe there is an alien force that we are not really aware of that have forced our government to participate in this grand scheme for some reason that we don't really understand. I mean, when I listen to those astronauts speak sometimes, and they'll say like about how important this is to humanity, and it's like when you think about what they're actually doing and what exactly have they invented, which is nothing there that they could say they've done, yet maybe they mean something else. Maybe they mean that they have to really be there because if they're not there, something really bad would happen to the earth. So maybe that's why they're faking this. But I don't want to give them a free pass because I don't know. So until I know for sure, other than the reflections I've
Don't
seen,
forget,
which
they
is
want
very
us to
strange.
fear. They want
The
us to fear,
reflections,
don't
the
they?
weird people in the reflections makes me wonder like, okay, so they're hiding their identity from astronauts, but maybe they're hiding their identity because they look so freaking weird that they need to wear these masks because they're not human. And why do they always say human? This is another thing that really bugs me. Like when I'm talking, let's say I'm involved, and I'm not involved in the church anymore, but when I was, let's say I was involved in a bake sale and I was had a table selling baked goods, I would not be saying to people, now these cookies were made by human hands and these muffins were made by human and this cake is made by humans. Like obviously it's made by a human. Who else? But if you ever listen to astronauts, and this is going into my video, so I'm like giving a bit of a tip and little what's it called, a trailer or something. Why are they always saying this? Why are they always saying humans? Humans. They say humans a lot. And when you start to notice it, you start to think, why the hell would we need to be identifying a race when we're only one race that we are aware of that is doing things? But you'll hear astronauts saying about this human or that human or humans. Like, we are all freaking humans. We're not aliens. I don't need to say that the ladies in the bake sale were humans. We take that, we already know that. Like, that's predetermined. So that's very strange if you think about it. So I hate the nefariousness. I hate the fact that all the money that goes out of our taxes, that my husband and I, when I was worked very hard, and all that money that I paid to go to this freak show, I want my money back. I really do. And I wish that we had the ability as a group of flat earthers to actually sue the government's ass for doing this to us. I
Yeah,
rather know the truth.
exactly.
I don't need a sugar coat. I don't need to live in a bubble, even though we kind of do. I just want to know the truth. If there's aliens forcing us to do certain things, I just want to know about that. I don't need to have some story, some fake backstory because they're protecting us from freaking out or whatever. I don't freak out. I just like to react to whatever it is. I want to know what my risks are. So yeah, I hate NASA. And I have a channel and I make videos and I study tons of footage from the space agencies, and it's not just from NASA. I mean, I have to study all the footages from all these space agencies that put out. So there is a lot. A lot of people don't realize You know, it's not just looking at NASA videos. So I look at all that. I study it with magnification glasses so I can spot irregularities that most people won't notice because you're just looking at it with your normal eyes and you're just taking it for granted. So I study frame by frame. It could take me hours to go through one simple video that isn't even very long. But that's how I find this stuff. So people think, how do you always find stuff? You're such a detective. Well, it's because I take that time to, it takes me hours. It's not really that fun. I don't like watching NASA videos. I mean, I can't stand these people. I'd rather be watching something that's pleasing to me. But for my channel, I make the sacrifice to find these things so I can expose them and try to help wake up people or help people stay on track.
Oh.
Went on and off again, so I may start to break up.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Bling Bling. Next person, Lesia. Thank you, Bling Bling. Lesia.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Well, first, let me just start off by saying, as always, it's an honor to be here. Karen, thank you for allowing all of us ladies to get together. It always makes me very happy. Yes. Secondly, I'd like to double thank Karen, and I'd like to give out a shout out to Richard Lee Burke Jr. if he's listening, because it's a year ago this week that I came across Flat Earth by accident, and it was due to he and I having a mutual friend, and then our friend went amiss, and our friend requested him on Facebook, and then I had already been told that he was a flat earther, and I didn't even know what a flat earther was and all that. But long story short, friend requested him on Facebook to inquire about our mutual friend. And then I started seeing these, Richard Lee Burke Jr. post a link, blah, blah, blah. And then there was one about flat earth, and I clicked on it, and I've been a flat earther ever since. But it was he that told me about this sun and moon and Karen, and I'm like, sun and moon, oh, that sounds like,
Oh, bless
someone
him.
keeps calling me. I know. And it was, I went back in some I did like a screenshot or something, I guess, because I was trying to remember what was what, and it was like exactly a year ago this week that I came to my first hangout as a guest, not as in the chat.
Congratulations to your first year of being a flat earther.
Thank you.
So you've become a grandma, haven't you? No, sorry, you've had another grandchild.
Yes. I'm twice a mammy. Yep. She calls me mammy. She was supposed to call me Grammy. She couldn't say it, and so she called me mammy. And I just had my daughter had another little boy 2 months ago, and so between that and I'm in my first year of my own business of dog sitting, and I've been busy and flat earth. So that's
That's
me.
you.
That's me. That's my world. You're welcome.
Lucy Lemons.
Hi, ladies. Lucy here.
Hello, Lucy.
Hello, Lucy.
So you're making your little videos today with the music going da 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 in the car.
Thank you, Karen, for having me on your channel. I appreciate it that you take the time and everything to do all this for us. And well, as for me, a little bit about myself. I have a regular life, I work 8 hours a day, and I try to do good for people. I treat people right. I post videos sometimes about flat earth, different things, not necessarily flat earth, basically whatever goes on in my mind. And I take care of my parents, so I'm really like family oriented. They live with me. And I think that one of my missions on earth is to bring forth heaven on earth for the benefit of all, and release everyone from bondage in whichever way that I can, even if it's little videos or whatever, you know, just small stuff, planting seeds. I don't push things on people because I don't like to do that, but I do like to plant seeds and just share whatever I know with everyone because I care about humanity and I really care about the children. It doesn't mean that I don't care about the adults, but children, it's easier to help a child than to fix a broken adult, in my perspective. And children really matter. So I'm more focused on consciousness. I love consciousness, and I'm obsessed with anything that has to do with psychology. I love sun gazing. It's really healthy for you, for your pineal gland and everything like that. I'm still learning a lot of things, so I'm kind of like a work in process right now.
Oh, thank you, Lucy. Very nicely said.
Thank you.
I like the fact a bit about the children because that's so important. Because without the children, well, next generation, aren't they?
Yeah, they're the future for tomorrow, and they're little geniuses. And sometimes they have handlers. Like your parents can be your handler, your teacher can be your handler. And I think that they really need us because you're not always blessed with people around you that want the best for you. Sometimes handlers don't know what they're doing. And I'm not saying I know what I'm doing, you know, I'm still learning. So, but I wish that I could just help all of them. And I don't know, some way.
Are you insinuating, Lucy, that teachers know the truth?
I think that they do. I think some of them do,
Really?
but
Wow.
but you know, it
I
is
don't
what it
think
is, and they have to make a paycheck. You know, they might not do it with bad intention, but it.
Well, they have a
sometimes
curricula. I mean,
Hey, bling bling,
officials.
bling
they
bling,
have an agenda.
bling bling. John Smith Globe Lives was interviewing a teacher who resigned the other day.
Yes,
So
I saw that, and that made my heart sore. Now, I felt bad that they resigned. You know, that's their livelihood. But I would not be able to know flat Earth and to teach the heliocentric world. I could never do that. So I give that man like kudos for having a moral compass that reads the right direction, because that's what all people should be doing. If you have a job where you are forced to lie about the shape of the earth, then you shouldn't be doing it anymore if you know the truth.
Well,
luckily, not a lot of jobs do that other than being professors and teachers, right? So luckily.
He didn't want to be in the system, did he? But anyway, Patricia, trying to get through the ladies. Patricia.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Patricia.
Hi.
Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
Do you want to say a little bit about yourself, Patricia?
Do I have to?
No. Yes, you have to.
Yes.
Do it.
Hurry.
Like what? I don't know. Flat Earth.
How did you get into flat Earth? Whose video was it? How did you find flat Earth?
I can't remember which video it was, but it was something relating to we're not living on a spinning ball. And I thought, do you know what? I think that person's right. And that's basically where it started from I'd say about 3.5 years ago, maybe. But I was already looking into conspiracies and things like that. So my mind was open anyway. So I just thought, well, I'll look into it. Because I've got no else better to do, to be honest. And came across Karen's channel, and the rest is history, as I say. So that's it, really. I've got some questions for you, by the way, all of you.
Yeah,
so
just go for ladies. I know
she's been writing questions down from.
Yeah, she's raring to go today. But, and also Patricia really helps me, so thank you, Patricia.
As long as you don't ask me what that first chatter asked was, what is what was it, Karen?
We'll get to that one in a minute. I'm going to ask that one first, and then we'll get to that one. But I did explain it. But anyway, the next one, Roxanne.
Yes. Hello, my darling.
Bit about yourself.
Hiya. Well, yeah, I've been on a bit of a pursuit of truth now since my second child was born. Came across Flat Earth a few years ago. took a while to absorb it, wake up my family, adjust my life around it. Started making content about 6 months ago. I go out onto the streets and try and do activism whenever and wherever I can. Took the activism to Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park, London. And I do online hangouts and make content. And really and truthfully, it's you know, for me, my children are what's pushing me to strive on and talk about it publicly. It's got to be socially accepted. Things need to happen, like Lucy said. We need to start seeing teachers, you know, start protesting and making a change. Because, like she said, there is teachers out there that know the truth and they still teach. Anyway, there's teachers in my daughter's school. We just saw evidence of that on the Global Eye tour with that teacher that, you know, acknowledged that he quit. We shared the content of that. That's gone a little bit viral. We need to get this socially accepted to be spoken about. There's a lot of us that have not got family members that are awake. We've got extended family members that aren't awake. And eventually, if it's socially accepted, those family members will come back to us and they'll say, right, what was it?
Hello? Roxanne?
Hello?
All right, we just lost Roxanne for a second there.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back now. Can I just say before you continue that Becky has now joined us. Hi, Becky.
Hi.
Channel.
Can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Yes.
We're just
Hi, everybody.
Hello, my darling. We're just going through the ladies, so I'll come back to you in a minute if that's okay.
Oh, yes. No worries.
Talking and I'll come back to you. But anyway, carry on, Roxanne.
Yeah, so we're going to get to a stage eventually where it's, you know, socially accepted to be spoken about. And I think the more of us that can have human interactions, public conversations about it, I think the better. Just now I'm involved with the UK Global Eye Tour with John Smith. That's halfway through. I'm looking to join that tour on the 19th of this month for a week. I'm then going to be at Speaker's Corner on the 28th of October with the tour. And then doing more activism at the end of tour finale on the 3rd of November. So that's like the next little bit of forecast of bits and pieces that I'm doing. And obviously I'll make online content in the meantime, keeping up with the tour and giving everyone an update every day. So yeah, that's about where I'm at with things. And like I said, Karen, thank you so much for providing a platform like this for ourselves to connect with one another and have conversations and have a lovely dynamic with one another, which I think is self-evident right here and now on this platform. So thank you, my darling.
Oh, well, I might actually ask you all on here, but it's you ladies and it's the people that come on that make the hangout. So it's always thank you very much to every single one that comes on Sun and Moon. But thank you, Roxanne. And you sound very busy there, Roxanne.
Yeah, just a little bit. But it's all,
okay.
All good.
Yeah, and obviously you can later on really mention what you're doing again, just to remind people that what you're doing and where you're going to be. So thank you for that.
Brilliant, darling. Thank you.
Next one, Sarah. Coming to you.
You want me to explain it myself?
A little bit, yeah. I just feel that sad bit about when you were like, I just remember you talking about, well, I wasn't sure, but I was living right next to the sea, so I couldn't get away, even if I wanted to.
Blatantly obvious in my face. Yeah, I've got like basically a massive open windows on our second floor where our bedroom is just now, and the view is stunning upstairs.
I want to see that.
We have a cracking view of the night sky as well, like, you know, from the stars and stuff. But the sea is just completely flat, and it's blatantly staring us in the face. See, right there every single day, and you don't even think twice about it when you look out your window. You know, I think when I was on a holiday like a month ago when I sort of hurt myself, we was just down by the west coast. And the sun was setting, and it's something like probably maybe half you on the board just now, people in the chat. Maybe some of you live in the countryside do see the sun setting every day, and some of us don't if you live in a built-up area. And it's something I see daily, and I always, I love seeing the sunset, and I do appreciate it. But where we was, obviously, there was a lot of tourists sort of living, you know, coming to stay in the hotel we were staying in. The sun was setting, and it was beautiful. And the reaction it got from everybody had their phones out, taking pictures, like gasp, going, "Oh my God, look at that sunset." And I was like, it's a sunset. Why are you acting as if you've never seen it before? But my sister was like, well, we live in London, you know, it's all built up. We never see the sunset. And I was like, that's so sad that people don't get to see that. And it's just like the difference of where you live and you don't get to see that horizon, that flat horizon, seeing the sunset, something we get to take for granted sometimes. It's just a little thing like that came to mind.
That's true. I
I
live on
went
the
off
East
topic
Coast.
there.
I only see the
You went off
sunrises. I don't see the
Sarah,
sunsets on the
explain,
ocean.
explain what you're doing as well. That's hopefully we're all going to be able to read soon.
Yes, spring. Going to release, we're definitely aiming for spring. My editor she made me pick a month, so we're aiming for April basically. Releasing a book. I say it's based on a flat earth, on a flat plane. That is basically the foundation of the stories, and there's going to be multiple series. So the books go on and on and on. It's incredibly deep. It's not a straightforward, love story. You've got a lot of dynamics. You've got loads of history going on. Various amounts of species thrown into it. I've made a new language up. I've made a whole bunch of names of different species and stuff like that. But I've started it off really slowly, and so in the first book it's very, very simple, and I'm building it up and I'm slowly easing into the books. The idea of having planes and realms and having these different I call them axes, because the only way I could actually describe, or if you had to try to visualize where we live on a plane, and some of us might agree or disagree that we've got this ice border going around us. I bring that into the story, and then you think, well, what's outside of that? So then I'm having to expand my imagination and think, well, what's past that? Is it just what is above the stars? If there is a dome, if there isn't a dome, there has to be something above that. So now I'm pushing my own mind now to try to think. I think of plates, like what do you call them, like a cake stands. You've got one onto the other, and then you've got like a pole going through the middle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I try to imagine it like that, with a pole going all the way through. So the North Pole, that is what I would class like an axle, and you could, maybe like I don't know, try to describe it. How you would jump from one plane to another, you're passing through, or you can go, or you're passing through tablets. So right now I'm trying to build on that part of the background issue, and it's being dropped into conversations throughout the story. So it's not fully focused on the flat earth, but it's a background part of it. So it's not sprung on the reader, and it drips really, really slowly through the books, but it's engaging enough to bring an audience that would never even look twice at one of these books into the actual series and make them want to carry on reading. And then before you know it, they've read a whole bunch of books on flat earth and the concept of realms, dimensions, very different species, and all this kind of comes into it. I hope I've said that correctly.
That's amazing. What a great idea you have going there. Are you a writer? Is that you have other books out that we could read now?
No, I'm literally just jumping at the deep end. I've got a massive imagination, huge imagination. And
I find that so interesting. And considering what I'm starting to think about, what's really going on here, maybe you're not far off the plot at all with an alien
we don't know.
species, a weird
We don't know.
language.
We don't know what is past that stars. We don't know. We're being told that astronauts are going. We don't know.
Why they're doing this to us, why they're
No.
lying to us.
So
There's gotta
that's
be
kind
a
of what comes
reason.
into it. The history, our history's been manipulated. That comes into it. Our genetics, that comes into it.
Sorry, somebody's fiddling around.
Huh?
Somebody's really fiddling around. It's just taking over the hangout.
Oh, don't
Not
worry.
me for once. Not me. I'm just sitting here.
Not me. I was muted.
Sorry, carry on, Stella.
So this basically comes into it. I talk about a war that happened about 400 years ago. I talk about the fact that 7,000 years ago, there was a massive war and it was sort of taken over. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Hold on 2 seconds.
amazing that
Well,
she's
what?
writing a book series like Harlequin Romance or something. I'm really impressed.
Sorry about that. Husband came in. I was like, what? Come on. Poor guy.
Is he a flat
Yes,
earther too?
what I'm doing. I'm building the background. So when you're writing, you have all these characters. So I've then got, say, 7 main characters, and you have to build their lives, their history.
Develop their personalities.
Their personalities has to come into it. So you've got all these 7 individuals' lives coming into it, which has to play on top of my own imagination of what is going on past what we know, because we don't know anything right now. We only can know what we see with our eyes. And I said this last time, I only trust what I can see with my own eyes. And even then, what was we saying earlier on? You know how you see, even when you've got your eyes closed, you can still see stuff.
So weird.
That to me, and I said I have like hypnagogic visions. I've spoken about that previously, and I say I don't trust my eyes.
So you have that too, then? That
Oh
phenomenon.
yeah, quite.
I wish I could read what the words are,
I see,
though.
like, see faces and patterns and all that.
Do they
stuff.
morph? Do they morph into things very quickly,
Yeah,
like mine do?
yeah.
Yes, that's what I have. Like I'll see a face and then it morphs into something else, or an animal, then it turns into a human face again. It's just over and over and over. It's fascinating. I used to be so fixated on watching it that I'd spend hours doing it, not falling asleep. And then I couldn't turn it off as soon as my eyes closed. It was coming on so strongly. Then it started to annoy me. So I somehow was able to turn that off. So now, unless I think about it and bring it back on, but then I've had it where I was able to see the colors with my eyes open in my bedroom, the purples so that's very strange that I
As I
was able
said,
to do that.
it's one of my senses that I don't think they say, trust your eyes. What can you see? I just say you still can't trust your eyes. Can you trust your senses? What we feel, what we taste. You smell something. All these different senses. What we're trying to trust, but I just think they've been hijacked personally. I think we can only feel and see and touch a very small percentage of what are actually going on there. So, as I say, I'm now trying to push my own imagination into thinking what is out there, what is actually going on. So that's kind of what I'm bringing into it.
Oh, I love it. I
It's
really
really
love it. I can't
exciting.
wait to
I can't
read
wait
it.
for the book to come out. I really can't. But can I just say, Becky's joined us. Becky doesn't really know any of us. So I think we should. I should tell Becky who she's on a hangout with. Becky.
Yes, hi. Thank you,
Hello, my
Karen,
darling.
for having
Becky,
me on.
you've got Cami here. You've got Cami here. Cami's Globebusters, Bob's wife. You've got Bling
nice.
Bling. She's BS of the ISS channel. She's the lady who was just talking with blonde hair. I don't know which. Can you see their names?
Yes.
Lesia's got the glasses on with the sort of lighter coloured hair.
Hello.
Got Lucy
Hi.
Lemon.
Yes, I do.
Lucy Lemon's got the jeans on. There's our Patricia, obviously, who was on the hangout before. We've got Roxanne Glen. She is, what's your channel called now, Roxanne? You've changed it again.
Yeah, it's called Roxanne, the Globalist Denier.
I love it.
And
That's
we've got
awesome.
Sarah. We've got
Hi.
Sarah, and Sarah's writing a book, which she's just been explaining about. So, do you want to explain a little bit about yourself?
Well, my husband is the boogeyman. It's the funniest thing. Here, I'm going to show my face because all I got is the globe.
I saw that.
I know.
Now
Sorry.
you're gonna get
I know.
people lips flapping that you are a shill. You know that, right?
Oh, I get that all the time. And, I try not to let it get to me. And so Andrew is the boogeyman, and I'm Boogie Bex. And we have Boogie Rex, if you could see him right here. He's joining us today. And all three of us, we started looking in the sky and not, just looking at stars. We started with a telescope. And from there, it kind of opened our eyes and to all the lights in the skies. And so that's what kind of opened our eyes and got us questioning what's out there, what's real, what's not, and like who's lying to us. You know what I mean? So that's how we started, like about a year and a half ago. And so today, he's putting out videos, and we're doing a lot of live sessions, getting everyone together. That goes through what we call like an ascension. Like things that you're seeing, what you're believing, and the disbelief of what's going on out there. So we're uncovering a lot of things, and it's quite interesting.
I
It's a
don't know
little
why I
mind
didn't know your
blowing.
channel. I subbed it, and it's like you've
Uh-huh.
got a substantial amount of subscribers too. Did you start out not doing flat Earth and then switched it over?
Well, we started off just uncovering just things that we're seeing. And a lot of things that we're seeing, it makes us question, and a lot of things change for us because, um, you know, things aren't looking the same anymore from like a year and a half ago. And we only started maybe in February. Um, and we got a lot of people on board. We do a lot of interviews, and we get together with people to uncover all these things, and it's just amazing getting everyone together. And I don't know, I don't know if you guys seen like the Matrix, the one that we did. It was the one that kind of brought us into this community.
No, I didn't. I didn't
Okay,
see
so
it. Have you been interviewed by Patricia Steer? I
A little
just don't know how I missed your channel. Like, I'm like, what?
well, we started with Jeff P, and then we were on with Planet X News. There's a group of people like Robbie Sky Killer. He started a little bit after we did, and he's also a flat earther, and he's caught a lot of things that made him realize, and showed him,
I feel like you're
for
talking
sure
about
that that's what
another
it is.
group of flat earthers that I do not know exists. And I feel like,
Really,
why do I not
yeah,
know this? Those names are
it's
not familiar to me. Cami,
I
are
came
you
yeah.
following me on
across
this? Am I alone here? Like, this is just
I
weird
came
to me.
across the Boogie channel, and then I wrote to the Boogie channel, and then they came on a couple of weeks ago, and then twice. You can't come on Sun and Moon twice.
Right,
Because you
right.
have like 11,000 subscribers. And
I know.
Cami, do you know this channel, Cami? Because she
I
would
don't know
know.
this channel, but I find
There you
that
go.
there are all
I
kinds
feel
of
like,
pockets. Every day I find groups that I didn't know
okay.
existed, and there's little
But
pockets
because you
everywhere.
do
And there's
that, that's
groups.
that Cami does is on Globebuster. She's always finding the stuff for Bob. So there is another group of flat earthers.
Oh
Are you
no,
in
no, no!
Florida
There's not
or
another
Arizona
group,
or?
Lee. There are a lot another. There are a lot of
Yeah,
other
you're right.
groups,
You
not
said like
just another. There are
multiples of
multiples.
pockets of
I mean,
like
we're just one small little
factions,
pocket. Yes.
flat Earth
Yeah, there's
factions
a lot
here.
of people. I mean,
Wow,
I
I'm
think a
so
lot of
glad
people
that.
are just questioning the skies, and they're just figure out, what am I looking at, and they're still trying to figure it out for themselves, I think, too. So it's hard, it's a lot of, a lot of people have to see it for themselves, to believe certain things. Even if you tell them, they're not going to believe you. They have to watch you for a while and
Yeah.
understand, and right. So you
Are
guys
you
go
in
through this,
Arizona
right?
Exactly
or
right.
Florida? You look like
I'm
you
in
live in. You're
Yeah,
in
I'm in
Florida?
Florida.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I'm
God.
in
Where
Florida.
in Florida? I'm in Florida
Oh,
too. I can't believe this.
West
Where do you
Palm
live?
Beach. West
Shut
Palm Beach.
up. I live in West Palm Beach.
Really?
Oh
Yeah,
my God. I've
it
never
is
met a
super
flat
humid.
earther in West Palm before. This is amazing to me. Yeah,
I get
I live out west in
uh-huh.
Loxahatchee, but a lot of people
Oh,
don't know, like,
okay.
or they call it the acreage because we live on acreages, which is a horse community. But I mean, are you right in West Palm, or are you on it?
Uh
What area?
I'm
Sorry,
in
guys, this is
the
fascinating.
village area. The
Okay.
village.
I don't believe
Yeah, I
this.
was
This is
actually
just blowing my
looking
mind.
in Loxahatchee for land, actually, because you're just talking about acreage. I wanted to open up a land and have like a dog farm, and I know it's so funny, have a
No,
little
it's
dog
funny.
farm,
There's
and
so
then we
many
have
of them.
telescopes.
There's
Yeah,
lots of
so we
them.
have
Sure.
telescopes. We want big land. We wanted to do events, like to get everyone together, look at the sky. That was originally our plan. So,
But then you bought
but
in the
yeah, it's so
villages
wet.
instead, or you wanted to move from the villages?
Yeah, I mean, I came here from California. We just moved here in January.
Well,
So,
welcome to
yeah,
Palm Beach County. And I'm
it
so
is so
excited. We have to get
different. Yeah.
together now. This is ridiculous, guys. This is the first time I've met a flat earther in West Palm Beach. Like there, I do know of one other now in Lake Worth. So that's three of
Oh, Lake
us that
Worth,
we
uh-huh.
actually, that's enough to have like a hangout together. Like which
That's
I've never
crazy.
even done. I've never gone to any group event before. So that would be fun. I could bring my son, he's a flat earther, and Margaret, who lives with us, who's also flat. So that would be 5 people, and maybe you have other people. We could actually have quite a decent hangout, and that would be great. I would love to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I'm so
this is
excited.
so new here. We've been here a year, and it's just looking at the skies is so different than looking in LA. I've lived in LA forever. I grew up there, so this is all new to me.
Well, and it's funny, like I was saying, we don't get the sunsets, we get the sunrises living out
I
east,
love it though.
So
I
when it
love
is
it.
beautiful, if I don't know if you've ever bothered to drive to the ocean and watch,
Oh,
but to me,
that's
it's
what we
like,
do.
I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
mean,
I'd love
I know
doing
that
that.
like a lot of people don't know our channel, but we, get like birds flying behind the sun, and I go to Juno Beach, um, 3 times a week almost, and
I'm
we film
always
up
at
there.
Juno Beach with the
Really?
dogs. I
I
can't
am
believe
there
I
in the morning. I
never
wonder if
met
I've seen
you.
you. I must have seen you or something. You never
I've
seen
got
Rex?
a Weimaraner. I've got Lenny, my Sharpei cross, and I can't
I
bring
kind of
Belle
plugged
anymore
myself
because
1
she's
second.
sick. My Pomeranian she's not up to doing beaches anymore. But well, let's plan it for sure, and then I'll just
That's
meet you there,
so
and I'll bring my
funny.
crew. And yeah, wow. Sorry guys for monopolizing
Yeah,
this,
go
but
ahead. Sorry.
it's a mind blow for anybody, obviously, when you meet another flat earther in your own community, and that other than someone that you already know, like my own family. But to me, it's like I feel like I almost
You'll have
won a
to
little mini
arrange a
lottery here.
rendezvous then, won't you?
Now, Bling, is that right that you've never done another meetup where you've never?
Never. I've never done a meetup. Never. And I'm going to the Flat Earth Conference, so I'm super psyched about that, of course, because I'm going to actually be able to breathe the same airspace as all my Flat Earth friends that I know from all their channels. So I'm going to be giving great big hugs to everyone. I can't wait for that day. Like, I'm so excited. But yeah, never had a hangout, never been to a hangout. So ours would be the first. So that would be, there is really no flat earthers in West Palm Beach other
Oh,
than
that's
us
not
that I
true.
know of. Well, there you go. You see, no one's
You
ever
just
come
don't.
forward.
Yeah.
They're not coming forward and telling me. I mean, like I said, I'm not doing any get-togethers. So you're telling me there's been flat Earth meetups in West Palm Beach that I didn't know
Yeah,
about? Oh,
I
I'm
don't know any
crunched.
of them here. I mean, a lot of times we just do, uncovering things in the sky, and then, we come up with these different theories. Our channel's a little crazy. It's a little out there, but the reason why is we were able to use our optics to, see the holograms in the sky, and that kind of proves a lot, like
Really?
looking out there. Yes, yes. I think on our last meeting with Karen. It was me and my husband, and we were showing some footage of just all the things that you would see in the sky that's just so fake. And
Are you
so,
serious?
yeah, that's what
I
we
can't
do.
wait to
Yeah.
watch your stuff. I subbed you this afternoon when Karen
Oh,
said I looked
awesome.
found it, and I've subbed you. Now I'm definitely going to be very curious to see what these holograms are like. That sounds
Yeah,
fascinating.
and just the moon, and just it's not what we think. So I don't know. I'm still questioning a lot. I'm just trying to, for myself, I'm still trying to figure out a lot. I know I was going back and forth with round, pair, triangle. I don't even know anymore. You know what I
Well, the
mean?
moons definitely have
So
some terra firma that you could go walk
yeah,
around on some round planet that you
exactly.
just walk upside down on.
It's
Like,
just,
so ridiculous that
it's just.
people could look at that and think that they could go up
Hmm.
there and walk on and then walk upside down all the way around it. Like when they
Yeah,
do
it's
go
really
back,
hard to
guys,
do.
they're gonna have to
Hmm.
prove to us, right, with their fakery, that they're walking all the way around the moon, and we're gonna watch from
Yeah.
our homes, seeing them walk upside
Yeah, it
down.
just doesn't match.
It's
It doesn't match up,
ridiculous.
as you guys know, with all your research and everything. It's just, I just can't buy some of the stuff. It's just, I
No,
try, but
thanks
it's
to
not gonna work.
all the research, and Globebusters is huge. I'm so grateful
Yeah.
to Bob and to Jaron and John, and Uru. These guys are so smart and mind
Mhm.
blowing to me. I'm so proud to be able to say they're part of the flat Earth community. And when I flat smack someone, I always send them over on Sundays to watch Globebusters, because I know that is
Oh,
going to prove that there is a high level of intelligence within our community, that we're not a bunch of dumb people that just don't understand physics or something, so that's why we think the earth is flat. That we actually have these really intelligent, well-educated, professional people that have figured it out. So that's what I'm mostly proud of within our communities, is the high level of intelligence, well-articulated people. That's what is just so great about it, that we don't have people that are stumbling for words. And I hate to say like people like our president, but thankfully we don't have people speaking for us that speak like that, because he's so simple. He doesn't have a good comprehension of language. He obviously never read any books. He wrote some apparently, but he's never read. He's not, we can tell, because he has a very limited vocabulary. He's always using the same words, you know. It's very, you know, big league. The big leagues. You know, and like, what else does he say? It's going to be huge.
Anyway, I'm sure in the future then you two can meet up then, as you're so close to each other. Because you said
yeah.
you had some questions. Patricia, where is she?
Oh, she's already gone to sleep on us. Maybe.
Yo.
Not.
She's
forced
there.
herself
Patricia,
to
you had
stay
some
awake.
questions you want to ask the ladies.
Yeah, what shall I start with? Who wants to answer a question? Put
I
your
do.
hand up. Oh, no, I can't.
Is it a test?
Patricia,
Lisa, I'll
asked.
start with you then.
Hold on, I forgot my earbuds weren't in.
Sorry, girls. Sorry.
Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. I want to go. Hello?
Go, Patricia.
Can I phone a friend?
She's getting her list.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm here. Got to say again, hi everyone, because I'm terrible with names. Boogeyman's wife.
Oh,
Becky.
yeah,
Becky, yeah, sorry. I should have
No, it's
remembered.
okay. There's a lot of it.
Becky's name. My daughter's Becky. Right. While I'm talking to you, Becky, I might as well ask you first, can't I? Right. Other than flat Earth, what are you interested? What other things are you interested in?
Well, right now, for Andrew, you know, he does a lot of the optical work, and I'm always there, like assisting him, and we do a lot of captures. But we run a channel called For the Woke. A website called forthewoke.com, and it's just for me, it's getting everyone together and just having them feel like they have a family, because it's really hard, you know, when you uncover things and everybody around you just think you're crazy, you know. And a lot of people do feel alone, you know, and I love getting the community together. And, you know, everyone has different research that helps us bring our research a little further. And so
Becky, she said, apart from flat Earth, what do you like? But I think with all of us, once you hit flat Earth, if you're like, I've got a channel, or like Cami's husband's got in Globus, you can't get away from it. It's all it is your life, isn't it? I have having meet up myself, you know, flat Earth related. So that's what you're saying then, is that it is flat Earth, is all of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just getting everyone together and just with like minds. You know, for me, that's a lot of it. Just having everybody, you know what they're seeing and validating it. So that's what, like, educating people. That's what, like, I usually like to do.
Thank you for that. Cami, then, do you do anything? Do you have any other interests, or is it most of it flat Earth? I know you've got a son or children, so yeah.
So I have my husband. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I work. I support Bob with the Globebusters, and then actually my passion in the flat Earth is different than the Globebusters, and you know, I spend a lot of time on it too, especially in my dreams. You know, the different thought process and that why working along doing other things, but I'm curious is what the map looks like. So it's not busting the globe, but it's again curious on that. And more than that, just discovering, and where I've really fallen in love with it is how everything really works, how the earth is growing. It's not something that happened millions and millions of years ago and the layers are there and you can go down and dig it. Things are happening every day. Fossils are being formed every day. Rocks are growing.
Yeah.
You look around you, it's so misleading the way that we've been taught that things work when you actually look at the real physics, not pretend physics, not theoretical physics, but the actual physics on how things work, and putting it together where it never made sense before, and on the flat earth it really does. So just, you know, finding the beauty, the logic, and I can't stress the beauty in how everything works on it. So that's definitely an interest. And genetics, I follow genetics and always have, along with space weather and different things. Everything actually pulls into flat earth really well, but I think all of us have a lot of different interests and thoughts on things. So
Sorry, someone's really moving around again. It sounds like you're moving furniture. But it just takes over the hangout. Whoever that is. Bling bling. It was a bling bling. Thank you for that, Cami.
I didn't do anything. I
You
swear
didn't
to
do
God.
anything.
I must have the most sensitive microphone in the world.
Oh, so Patricia, you've asked, what do you do outside flat Earth? So so Becky and Cami, it's flat Earth all the way. Roxanne.
Right. What do I do other than flat Earth? Well, I'm a mummy first and foremost to my children, my daughter who's almost 16 and my son who'll be 11 in a couple of weeks. So my main passion is nurturing them and raising them and getting them to the point where they're grown. And it's really nice because they're awake. So, you know, they're also on their journey as well. And we look into things together, you know, like it's almost like some people say, you know, for their spare time, they really like to read books and stuff. We like to study and research things and look into things together. When we're not doing that, we're spending time together. And yeah, around that, every other bit of spare time I've got goes into flat Earth, if that makes sense. So yeah, family is family all the way for me. If I have to compromise spending time with the family to do something else that's not flat Earth related, count me out. So yeah, other than flat Earth, I'm just dedicated to nurturing my children and getting them to a place where they need to be mentally, physically, and awoke.
Yeah, a bit of a warrior you are, aren't you, Roxanne? Thanks for that. Sarah.
Yes.
You? Outside flat Earth? Or is it book?
Basically, yeah. Before I started writing, I had other stuff on, but since I started writing, it takes up the very small amount of time I've got between raising the 3 kids and the 4th child, which is the husband, really. We've got horses outside, we've got animals and stuff that keep me occupied. I was running a gardening club at the local school before, but I think that sort of died out just because sort of realised I wasn't really getting the sort of participation, I suppose, from everybody else. And then this kind of happened last Christmas, and this really takes up a huge amount of my daytime. As I say, when the kids are at school, I write, and then when they're home, as you know yourself, it's a full-time job. Although I was told about a few weeks ago that I won't say names. It's just somebody. She was quite horrible. I don't work, apparently. So mums who don't actually have a job title, if you're just a full-time mum, it's not actually classed as work. And I think that's really harsh these days. I think, you know, if you don't actually have a job title and you are fully committed to your children and doing that, and that's what you choose to do, it's not actually classed as a job. And I just think that's very, very harsh. Thankfully, I just brushed it off the shoulder and it kind of rolled off my back. But yeah, I think there's people that gets to, because that's what I do, my writing.
Was that okay?
Them there is fighting words, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep calm when I say these words.
Oh,
I'm
that
keeping
is-
calm when I say that, but right now
Wow.
in my head I'm like cussing people.
Yeah. Being a mom is full-time job.
Okay,
Fighting
being a
words. I love
wife
it.
is
Them
full
there.
time. Let's start with being a wife. That's a full-time job, no?
That's for
Mhm.
sure.
Right.
That is for
Exactly.
sure. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
Yep.
Shocked that someone said that to you in these times when so many women have to work because they can't afford to stay home with their kids.
Yeah.
So they know exactly how much work it is.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some jealousy involved. And there's a lot of public shaming involved now too. I've noticed
I know.
Facebook groups. There's
I
actual
know.
groups dedicated to shaming mothers if
Right, I
they
know.
aren't raising their kids in a certain way that is now this gold standard, apparently,
Well,
which I would have failed
no,
dramatically.
I agree. There's this
I would have
standard that has
failed.
now been put on parents, on mums, and women are around everywhere. And I'm trying to break it down. Every conversation I have with other mums, I try to put it out there is, why do we put this standard against each other? Why is it okay for a person who is able to work because they've got free childcare within family to then frown upon somebody who can't work because they have to then pay for childcare? So they then decide, as myself, is
It's not
financially
worth it.
I'm better staying at home and raising my children. I'm thankful and I can do that. Thankful we're in a position I can do that. Why is it okay for somebody to frown upon what I'm doing? I would never, ever, I will never, ever frown upon another woman's right to choose what she does in her life, with her family and her children. It is that person's life. So for us to infringe our opinions on another person, that's just wrong. So I just let that roll off my back, and I just think to myself, no, so I mean, I've got another friend who's completely like-minded as me, so we can have certain conversations because we're like-minded. We don't go around judging other people just because they've decided to do something else within their life because that's what suits them. So it's a very, very judgy world, and I think us women just need to remember we are
I know,
women,
right?
we are mums, we've already made a massive sacrifice in our lives having children. Let's just give ourselves a pat on the back and just. Well, I've said my bit. I'll stop rambling. Stop rambling, guys.
I used to think people were good. I used to think people were generally good. Now I realize that people are generally evil. With the things that I've seen, the shaming that I see, even for someone who's dead. Good example, Cami, you probably know the story about Chris Watts killing his family, killing his wife Shanann and their two little children. And there's Facebook groups dedicated to shaming Shanann for being a part of a multi-level marketing and being so busy with doing Facebook videos about that multi-level marketing and feeling like she was negligent to her children. And she's dead. She's dead. She was murdered, and they're shaming her.
They're shaming her.
It's so disgusting to me. I'm shocked. I used to think people were generally good, but no longer. I now firmly believe that people are inherently evil. And it is true that the devil is the god of this earth, and people are just all evil now.
I don't know if anybody, Bling Bling, I don't know if you've been listening, but we have James who comes on our channel. James lives in New Zealand, and basically he's done the 8 laws of what is the word? Anxiety. And basically, a lot of people think they're being, as his words, virtuous by giving them their mind, because they think they're being virtuous with this information. But all they're actually doing is giving them anxiety as an answer and not realizing it's just anxiety. So that's the thing we're caught in, unfortunately. So people think, oh, I'm so righteous and I'm saying this, but actually they're just caught in that system.
It's called unsolicited advice.
Yeah. But anyway, Bling Bling. Lucy Lemons. I'll come back to you, Bling Bling. Lucy Lemons, what do you do when it's not flat earth?
When it's not flat earth, well, I like to do fun things, I guess. Have a regular life, because sometimes doing too much of flat earth or truth and lies is very overwhelming, and it makes you feel like you're going crazy.
You want
It
to
makes
kill
you feel
yourself.
like, I hear you. I totally hear what you're saying. It's not
So
necessarily
depressing.
that you want to die and that you don't want to be like, it's not that you want to kill yourself, it's not that you want to die, it's that because now that you know the truth, you see you see good things, but you see bad things. And it can be a little depressing and overwhelming, and sometimes you want to kind of like distance yourself from it, and without offending anyone, you want to do things that are a little bit like of the world, like a little bit zombie-ish, because not
Like
because
the
you're gonna,
world. You just want to
yeah,
fit in with them. They're all zombies.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that's
so
kind of how it is, because sometimes you're like, oh man, like this is too much. I just Sometimes you wish that you had never taken the red pill, and it's not because
yeah.
you regret being awake, it's because it's very overwhelming to know so much. And most of my time is taken away by work. Most people already know how I feel about work. Work is slavery, because as long as you're working for someone else, you're always going to be a slave. And work should be doing things for yourself, like making sure your children are fine, your vegetables are good, you finish your things in the backyard that you have to build your house, whatever, but not like giving your energy to things that don't matter. And so
You would
most of my
never be
things.
doing it had you not had the job. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
you have to do something that you really are loving. And how many people actually
Mhm.
get that? Not many get that. I'll
No, they
tell
don't
you,
get it.
very, very few. So yeah, it's true. We do work for the man.
They don't
You know,
get
I
it.
I totally understand,
They're
and
on loop.
everything's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They're on loop and they do the same thing every day. They get up and go to work, which is fine. I do that. So I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I do that. I get up, I go to work, I get home, and I have 5 hours to myself. Within those 5 hours, I have to come up with fun things, to distract my mind, to detox myself from all the bullshit that I've heard, that I've seen, that I've been exposed to throughout the day, being next to people that you don't want to be with. And it doesn't mean you don't like them. It just means that the, their vibration is just like, you don't want to be around it. You want to be around like-minded people. Unfortunately, we can't really just get up and choose what we want to do, because in this matrix, in this reality, you need money, and money talks, and money is a leash, and it allows you to walk further. And sometimes you
Yeah.
can't walk that far because you don't make a lot of money. And me taking care of my parents and stuff, sometimes it becomes very overwhelming, and I do feel sometimes like I want to disappear. I want to disappear from this earth, from this world, not because I want to die, but because
I
my
hear you.
reality, and I'm sure not just my reality, but many people's reality is not exactly what they want it to be. I love life. I love people and living. I love living, but because we are very oppressed. So I try my best to do fun things like go to the movies, just girly things that make me feel like I'm alive. And it doesn't mean I'm dead, because I have a soul. So I'm very much alive. But I'm so alive that I can see so much that it makes me sick. And um, I guess what I like to do for fun is just make videos, I don't know, on Facebook, whatever. I like to sungaze. I like to hang out with my dogs, take them to the park. There's not much that I can do. I live in a very small town. My things are very limited. My time is limited. So I literally have to use my imagination a lot, like a lot, to
I think
to
it's the
make my
same for
days
all of
go
us,
by.
though, isn't it, Lucy? We're all limited. Unfortunately, we can't just all got responsibilities or jobs or whatever it is. It's the same for all of us, really, but you've just sort of put it into words.
Yeah, it's just really difficult to. It's really difficult living here in this reality, because whoever's running it, they don't like us, and they're just here using us their for their benefit. And it's draining our battery. We are batteries. That's kind of how I see it. Like our soul and our spirit are batteries. And every time we have to do something and put our energy into something we don't like, it's energy draining. So whatever you have to do, as long as you're not hurting anyone, you're treating people right, do whatever you have to do, with good intentions and for the benefit of all. So just whatever it
Yeah,
is that
you're someone that says it with hope as well, though, aren't you, Lucy? You do it with hope.
I do it with hope. Like, how a child feels like, oh, magic really exists. That's how I feel. Like, magic really does exist. And one day, everything will change for us, even if people don't believe it. Some people just don't see it yet, but it's happening slowly. So while I'm able to find my way out of this dome, I do what I can to keep myself distracted, always in a healthy way, in a productive way. I love going to meetups. I love doing meetups. That's really fun in the Los Angeles area. There's
Yeah, we've seen you at a few with Flat Earth Dude.
yeah, he likes to go and do his thing, he's really good at that. And but
Where does he
there's
do
not
that?
much
Where does he do that exactly?
anywhere in Los Angeles. He does flat smacking too sometimes on Hollywood. And he does live streams. He carries his little tripod and everything. He's very well prepared.
Yeah, he's
And
like
he
our
does
he's
interviews
like
and
our
stuff.
cameraman now, isn't he? He's like one of Flat Earth cameramen.
Yeah, he is the cameraman. He covers everything from the
And the
beginning to end.
reporter at the same time.
Hmm?
He's a reporter as well at the same time. 'Cause he's asking questions and he's there, and he's also whoever's on the hangout. He's with the hangout as well, so he does a really good job, Flat Earth Dude.
Is he in the chat?
He's always on our hangouts, Bling Bling. He's just
I
not
know,
here
so I'm
today.
just wondering if he's in the chat.
No, he's not at the
Wonder.
moment. But he's not here
Huh.
today because it's ladies' night. But he's on most
Oh no,
nights.
no. But I was wondering if he's in the chat.
Thanks, Lucy. Thanks for that, Lesia. What about you?
I was going to say, Flat Earth Dude is one of the nicest people that I've met in a long time. Well, not in a long time, but he's super. He's a real asset to Flat Earth for sure. As for what I do, hello, that's Xena.
Adorable.
I like to play with balls. Huh?
I see that.
Come here, give it to me. Give it to me.
Is that a
That's
Jack
Peanut.
Russell Terrier?
Yes, it is. Yes. Well, and yeah, he doesn't like for me to get a ball. Give me that
They're
ball.
smart
Give me.
little
No,
dogs.
actually, okay. When I like to hang out at Pancho Pete's late night. And oh, my battery's gonna die. Okay.
Uh-oh.
When I'm not flat earthing, obviously I said this earlier. I'm a new Grammy, and I have a 3-year-old grandchild. And this year's been really busy for me because all in a matter of about 6 months, I've moved into a new home, started a new business, had a new grandbaby. Still trying to make time to visit my mother, who is 95 years old. Yeah, I don't have a whole big social life. Not really. But yeah, that's, I think about Flat Earth 24/7. Matter of fact, it's so weird. And I'll tell him this later, but last night I had a random dream about Dan the Waterman. Never met him ever, but like seriously, but I think I was kind of, I went to sleep worried about the hurricane. All right, even though it's not my town, but I've been affected by 2 of them before. And I just was sleeping uneasy. And I dreamt that I sold a camper, which used to be, in real life, my ex-husband and I, we had a nice 5th wheel camper. And when it was time to evacuate for a hurricane or a storm, that's what we would do. Well, I dreamt that I sold him the camper. And that I went in there because he called and said, hey, I can't find the key or whatever. And I said, this is how you open the door. And I can remember like looking around and things looked the same, but yet not. It was just so weird. moral to the story is, why am I dreaming about someone I've never even met? Because
Especially him.
you know
Sorry.
what?
Especially
What'd you say?
him.
Right. I mean, but yeah, he also is. I mean, he is also another big part of the Flat Earth Hollywood thing. Him and Kenny, Flat Earth dude.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. Flat
Like I
Earth dude
said,
is awesome.
yep.
He
Thanks,
is.
Lesia.
Love
Lesia.
him.
You're welcome. Hey, I will, Karen. I did try to charge my battery. It's just gone into the RAM. I might just like put it back on charge. I can mute and try to come back, or I'm just, if you don't hear from me for a minute, I'm just charging it up. Okay.
All right, my darling. Thanks for telling us
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yes, I'm gonna mute and charge it up. It's on 19 now. I don't know what's up with this. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Lesia. Bling Bling.
You're
What's
welcome.
well, actually, Bling Bling has like a zoo at her house.
I do. I'm an animal lover, and like I said, since the world is just the most evil place, I've decided that I certainly love animals far more than I love humans, which is a heck of a lot to the people that are worthy of being loved. So I have, yes, I love my horse, but I don't keep her here. I board. I have a beautiful paint mare that took me to the national level in showing. Because of my spine disease, I'm not able to do that anymore as far as the showing, because it takes a lot of physical effort. Like Lucy, I feel like kind of like life's a bit of a waiting room at times now with Flat Earth and being awake. And you can get very depressed, especially when you get into the conspiracy theories. And I hate to use that word, maybe it's truth theories. I never was into any of those things before, other than I was pretty sure that the moon landing was faked and I knew something was going on with 9/11. I never realized there was a huge community of truthers on YouTube because, like most women, I was stuck on Facebook, and it's a lot different. So once I became a flat earther, I jumped in head first after I met Patricia on her show, and I really started making a lot of videos, started watching a lot of NASA footage. But other than doing those things, I have a huge passion for all my animals, my dogs especially. Seems like there's always something going on right now. I have a little sick Pomeranian that I sadly and accidentally gave food poisoning to. And she had a spinal cord stroke at the same time, so I almost lost her. It's been very, very stressful over here at my house. She's doing a lot better. She's not screaming in pain anymore from the stomach cramps. A dog have more enzymes in their stomach, and normally they can handle foods that would normally upset our stomach. But I gave her food that I should have thrown away when it came. I ordered her food online, and it came. It was all unthawed, and I threw it in the freezer and threw some in the fridge, and I fed her for about 3 days, and she got botulism and was very, very sick. Thankfully, that's past now, but the spinal cord stroke has caused her to lose her ability to poop. So this is stressful dealing with that. I love travel. We travel a lot. That's my passion with my husband. He's not a flat earther. He thinks we're all crazy, thinks that 9/11 really happened with box cutting wielding terrorists. He's a true patriot to the massive blue pill status. He works for Homeland Security, so he has the opportunity to travel with his job a lot. And right now he's in San Diego. He was supposed to only be there for 3 months, but now he's going to extend, and he'll be there for about 6 months. So I'll be going back and forth to San Diego a lot. I'm planning a trip. I'm leaving on the 24th. That's why I was asking about Flat Earth Dude, because I'm going to be there for a couple of weeks. I'd love to be able to do a
I'll
meetup
tell him, Bling
while
Bling.
I'm there. I think that would be so cool.
I'll tell him.
Yeah, I've got my kids. I've got one of those starving artist kind of kids. So that's been now I'm very proud, and I've always been proud, but it's stressful too when you don't have a child that wants a regular job working for the man, which is we're all programmed for that. Andrew is an artist. He started out doing modeling all over the world, literally has lived in so many countries for at least a year at a time. That was difficult, but I was always very supportive. Now he's living in Atlanta because there's lots of castings because he's an actor. He's got quite a few movies that he's been in, tons of indie movies, tons of lead roles. He seems to always play a sleazy lawyer. It seems like
He's
just a
quite handsome,
coincidence.
isn't he? Bling
He's
bling.
extremely handsome. He's drop dead gorgeous. He's been on
He
a
is
reality show. He was on Below Deck. That was a lot of fun for him. He's a caddy. He's a golf caddy. To make money, you make a lot of money being a golf caddy for these very, very rich people. So he does that as his job, and then he goes to castings and does movies.
It was
And
about you, bling bling.
I know, but I love my kids are such a huge part of my life. I'm always FaceTiming with them or talking with them. I'm very close. I love young people. Thankfully, there's hope in young people still. They're not all selfish, self-centered people. So I've gotten very fond of Hori, of Devin, and we're very close. Looking forward to the conference, spending time with him. I love young people, and I do nails. I have a nail salon in my house, and I just started.
In a house.
I just started actually doing nails. It was always something that I had been trained for as a cosmetologist, like back when I graduated in the 80s. But I did hair. And then because of my spine disease, I can't stand behind a chair anymore. So I was always going to the nail salons, and I was getting tired of the same places, always saying, pick your color. And it's like, there's got to be more out there than just pick your color. And then I found all these YouTube channels with amazing nail art, which I am an artist too. I've always drawn or painted, or I had my own belt buckle company. I've made custom belt buckles with Swarovski crystals. So I love doing little things with my hands. That's why I like looking at flat earth stuff on NASA channels, because I love using, again, the tools, looking at things microscopically. For some reason, I'm very fond of that. So now I'm doing nails, but I'm doing like sculptured nails, beautiful nail art. I'm not doing like pick your color and you go out, with all the same nail color. Like I'm doing some pretty crazy stuff and trying to get that going. I'm probably going to have to go back to school so I can get my license, because right now I'm doing it under the table, which is more difficult. But I am trained, because I did have my license, but I let it go some years ago now, my cosmetology license. So technically I'm fully trained about, sanitation. So that's the big worry, but I still have to go and get a license. So I'll have to take a 2-month course that I know all the stuff already. That's going to be a bit annoying, but that's all the stuff I do. I have a lot, like I have a full life, but I really think it's a waiting room, and I can't wait to go to heaven and until the real life starts, the real life, not this one, but the one waiting for us. And I truly believe that, becoming a flat earther,
Yeah, I think
made
if
my
you're
relationship with
quite
God.
sensitive person, then here's quite hard, isn't it? I think that's what
My
Lucy was
husband,
about.
my
If
husband's
you're
a
a
hard
sensitive
ass.
person, being here is quite hard, because nearly
It is.
everybody is a zombie.
I'm an empath. I feel everything so intensely. I feel people's emotions. I can tell, looking at them, their tone of their voice, their inflections, like watching their video. I just know what really truly what's happening, and it's very hard, especially when you're married to a hard ass like I am, who's a military man for 30 years now. He works for Homeland Security. He's got a very tough job dealing with people and drugs and all this stuff, and he sees all the worst of the worst of the world. And especially now in San Diego, I can't believe the stuff that goes on there that we don't know, that because it's not in the news. But that's really crazy when he's telling me every night what's going on over there. It's like nuts. So yeah, it's nice to just shut down sometimes and just do things like do nails, be creative, take the dogs to the beach, get away from it, even though you can still think about flat earth. Don't think about chemtrails, and don't think about, that they're really trying to kill all of us and downsize the size of Earth to a certain number and all those horrible things. If you just focus on that, you're going to lead a really unhappy life because you feel very powerless. It's good to have, go out there and flat smack and talk to people, but ultimately we can't control this Illuminati group and what they're planning, because they're so powerful with all their billions of dollars. So that's tough. So it is good to have other things to do, to really take your mind away from it and be creative, and remember that this is beautiful place that we live, and God is a loving, beautiful God who loves us, and He doesn't love anything that has happened. All of this evilness He's totally against it, and one day it'll all be gone, and we really will live the life that we were supposed to live. Had Adam and Eve not sinned in the garden, everything would have been perfect like it was intended. So you just have a balance, I guess. You gotta have a balance.
Bling bling. Thank you for that. Love
You're
you
welcome.
much. Patricia, did that answer your question for you? The ladies actually can't really step away from flat Earth. Not really. Even in your time off, flat Earth. Patricia?
Yeah, I know. I've got another question, if that's all right. Yeah, thank you for that, by the way. Yeah, it's really interesting knowing what the people do other than flat Earth. I know a lot of my life is sort of filled with flat Earth. But the other question is relating to it, if that's okay, Karen.
Go for it.
Right, since it's to everyone, obviously. Since finding out about flat Earth, have you researched something so in-depthly that you would never imagine you would? Can I just say mine is, because obviously I can't answer, I'll answer myself, is I think if I had the confidence, I could really fly a plane, because I've done that much research on planes and how they work. And you know this, Karen, like, it's like, I'm sure I could fly one. I mean,
Then do it. Go take a lesson.
But anyway, that's a question. Have you learned something that you never imagined you would, but due to flat Earth?
Okay, I'll ask each one of them. I'll start with Sarah. Sarah.
Oh God, I was thinking my answer. I can't believe you come to me first. Damn you. Sorry.
It's probably writing your book, isn't it?
Huh?
It's probably writing your book.
My first thought came to like language, because it's, as I say, takes up more of my time, but that's kind of something that actually came into my research years ago, the actual meaning behind various words. And when you start looking into it, I could probably I'll pull apart words. That's kind of the first that came to mind when you was asking that question, Patricia. Another one would be to do with, like, I've done a lot of research into the human body, I suppose. No, I've never ever gone into anything as in depth as flat Earth. I'm sure all of us here have probably done, you sort of look into various things over the years, but I've never fixated on one thing as much as I did when it came to researching flat Earth. That's for sure. No, I can't say I've ever read a book or studied anything into as much depth to be able to say, well, yeah, I could actually go and do that now because I've studied it so much, because I just don't have that kind of fixation to be able to do that attention span. No, come back to me later. Ask somebody else first. Moving on.
All right, Liz. Sorry. You
No,
don't
go
have to answer that because it's a fixation, apparently, if you read too much into things and stuff. No, I'm only joking.
I don't know. It's just an odd one. As you say, you were saying, you read into flying, so you reckon you're going to fly on a plane. That's what kind of got me into thinking, is that what you meant by that question? Have I ever looked into something deep enough or fixate? Was that the question, or I'm reading your question wrong? Is that what you meant?
Well, like, because I do research, contrary to popular belief, and finding out about things and stuff. And I did a lot on aeroplanes, with the fuelless hoax and stuff. And I've watched videos after videos of flight decks and things like that, and how the inner, the turbine engines and all that. I was joking when I said I could actually fly a plane, but
no, you're fine. I'll tell you one thing I did look into when this flat Earth came about, as you're saying, looked into aeroplane, is something which really snagged me, and it's bugged me ever since, is tides. How we're always told that the tides are controlled by the moon. And then when I looked into it, really got into researching flat earth for goodness knows how many hours and days and weeks and months. I really got into the biblical side of flat earth and where it came from, the biblical sense of it, and how these stories came about, and how it's nothing to do with the tide, it's actually to do with the earth breathing, and it's to do with the currents coming. So that I really got into was the tides, because I've always had an affiliation with water and the moon and the cycles and stuff. That is something I really look deeply into, and I could probably have a really good conversation with somebody about that section of it. But the planes, no, that never really took, I could never really understand the jargon when it comes to that. But the nature side of flat earth I can delve into quite deeply with people, probably.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully that answered your question, Patricia.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer,
Well,
you know.
that's okay,
It's just-
then. That's okay then.
What about Cami then? What about for you, Cami?
I would say I would have to pick between two of them, or can I have two?
I had two.
Well, we can have two. Magnets. I've learned so much about magnets, magnetics, electromagnetics, how it works, and yet there's still so much more to learn. In other words, I've learned so much. I feel like you could, make a complete career out of that. And the more you learn, the more you want to learn, and the more amazing it is. And the more it works on a flat Earth. I mean, the more you see how the magnets work, everything seems to fall into place. So that I have a ferrocell. I have, probably like close to 200 or 300 magnets in my house. I have little plates that I set up alignments with, just, seeing how things read and affect. So that definitely. And the other would be genetics, and autism, and different things that go into that, following the bloodlines. I've done a lot of studies on that, and that's something also I think I've done enough studies on that I could probably go into the field on.
Thanks for that, Cami. What about Becky then? About having Becky for a little bit.
Yes. I don't know. I've been actually looking into frequencies. I don't know if you guys study anything about frequencies, and that's another reason why I feel a lot of things are the lies in the skies, because I feel like the government or whoever's above that's controlling all of this is using frequencies to put up there and control us, because we run off frequencies. And, it's kind of like, with the whole 5G rolling out and everything, I feel like it's sort of like a mind control thing. So that's kind of like the research that we've been working on lately, is how frequencies been working on everybody, how 5G's been, trying to change us. And so that's kind of what we're diving into now. And we were actually able to do, it's kind of funny. I don't know if you've seen the video of us able to use frequency to make lightning. Karen, I don't know if you've seen that one.
I haven't. I told you in an email I haven't quite caught up with things. I've just been so busy doing my own things. But explain it. Please explain it.
Well, so one day we were, messing around with, there's a lot of clouds out here, and we get a lot of plasma discharge in the air. And we were recording some sounds in nature. And then we were using that frequency, and we played it. It was just a test. And we played it, and it actually gave off lightning with a certain frequency that we had.